Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for day 3 of the Georgia HFMA virtual payer forum for 2022. Again, my name is Bill Ikest. I'm a past president of the Georgia chapter of HFMA, and I'm the moderator and facilitator for this week's payer forum. I want to welcome all of you. Thank you so much for joining. Today, we are fortunate enough to have UnitedHealthcare with us. We have a couple folks on the line from UnitedHealthcare, and we're hoping that there will be a couple others that will be able to get past some of the challenges that they're having connecting. That's the one constant this week, is some of the technology has been a little bit challenging, to say the least, getting everybody connected through firewalls and everything else. But I think we're going to be in good shape for today. So I want to remind you that any questions that you have during the presentation, if you would please drop those into the Q&A section down below, and I'll be sure to bring those up as we go along, and we'll make sure that we leave time at the end as well for any additional questions that you might have. But I just want you to think about the relationship with UnitedHealthcare, any of the day-to-day challenges that you might have when it comes to following up on claims, any issues that you're running into on a regular basis. They're going to share some updates with us, but I want to make sure that they understand any of the and are able to answer any of the questions that you all might have for anything that you might be experiencing on a day-to-day basis. This industry is already challenging enough. We want to try to eliminate as many of those obstacles and barriers for you as possible. So again, I appreciate your attention. Let me just check here. Cordis, are you on the call?
Hey, Bill, how are you?
Hey, doing great. Sorry for the difficulty. I'm gonna
not a problem at all.
Okay, I'm gonna let you. I've got Justin and Mark joined. I'm not able to locate Kellyanne unless she's coming through on another number.
Yeah, she was having some issues getting in, so I was assisting her. But I'll go ahead and jump off. Mark will be taking Kellyanne's place for today.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and do a brief introduction. So thank you so much for having us, first of all. We love partnering with you all, of course. We're still in a virtual world in some aspects, but again, that still does not hinder us from outreaching and pulling together the providers as best as we can possible. Justin Forte and Mark McQuistion will be presenting today's presentation for UnitedHealthcare. And of course, Bill, as you mentioned, if there are any questions, definitely we want to know about that. Any feedback definitely is always welcome. And then also, the participants will receive copies of the deck after the presentation. So if I need to get you an updated deck, I can get that over to you, but you will have everything you need to disseminate to the attendees.
Thank you so much.
Okay, and I'll turn it over to Justin and Mark. Thank you.
Great. Guys, whichever one of you is going to go first, if you just want to click share your screen at the bottom. If we have any issues with that, I do have the presentation and I can drive it for you if we need to.
Yeah, I think that we're unable to share our screen as well, so you may need to drive, Bill.
All right, let me go ahead and pull that up if I can real quick.
I just emailed it to you.
Okay, I've got it. I've got it from.
Yeah, it wouldn't let me share either, Bill.
Okay, I've got it from Cordis. Can you see that now?
Yes, we are. Yes, we can.
Okay.
All right. So let me start off by saying hello, everyone. My name is Mark McQuistion. Justin and I will be presenting our deck here today. I'm going to be doing the first portion. Justin will be taking over the second one. Just briefly to touch on our agenda, we're going to go over who we are, what is provider market operations, Georgia service model and escalation process, PMO and network management, what are the differences, network news overview, the Georgia health plan information, provider resources, virtual provider education forums, and then finally at the end, we will have some time for Q&A. So next screen, please.
Okay.
So let me go ahead and start off by introducing your Georgia Provider Market Operations team. Your provider advocates are Allison Murray, Kellyanne Adams, Jakeithia Belser, Tamisha Townsend, Tony Thurman, Justin Forte, Matt Hilgers, and myself, Mark McQuistion. And our manager, who you heard at the beginning of the call, is Cowartis Merkerson. All right. So now we're going to talk about our service model. The service model is basically how you would have your claims resolved when there is an issue that you need to get resolution for. Your first step is you're going to do a reconsideration. This reconsideration can be done one of three ways. You can do it through the UHC Provider Portal. You submit your reconsideration there. You can include comments, you can include attachments, everything that you need you can do through the portal. Or you can contact provider services with a call at the number listed on this slide. And as Corda said, this deck will be sent out to everyone. So you can give them a call. The representatives are available weekdays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, except for on designated holidays. And then your final method of resolution would be by mail. You can submit a claims reconsideration by mail. Out of these three methods, we do highly recommend using the UHC Provider Portal. That is going to in this digital society, be your best method for tracking, for following up, and everything. So we would highly recommend using the Provider Portal.
Mark, do you guys have a sense that there's strong utilization of that site? Do you feel like, just I guess feedback you're getting, I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot, but do you feel like people are using that online resource as much as they could be?
I will say that in my opinion, the portal is highly used. The two most common are going to be the portal and the call. Mail, not so much so.
Right.
I will say that the calls are still used a lot, and I do think that a lot of the calls could actually benefit from going to the provider portal.
Mm-hmm.
One, cutting down on hold times, follow-ups, all that kind of stuff. So I do think that the provider portal is the far superior method than a call, but sometimes you may have to go to a call. But the portal is definitely the preferred method, and I do think that in the whole business model, it would be better for the practice to use the portal because it will cut down on time spent.
Okay.
All right. So those are our three different methods that you have, and like I said, the portal is by far, in my opinion, your best option. Do note that for these particular methods, it can take 30 days or even more, depending upon the complexity of the request. So definitely allow for time. And that's one of the reasons why I say if you use the provider portal, you can follow up easier because you can go back in with that number and verify the status versus having to call and wait and call and wait and call and wait. So the next slide, please. Okay, our escalation process. This process is going to fit in between a reconsideration and an appeal. You always have the right to do an appeal, but before you do that appeal, we recommend following the escalation process, because once a claim is appealed, it's basically taken out of our hands as advocates for you at that point in time, and we can't do anything further on claims that have been appealed. So that's where this escalation process comes in. And what you would do is you would place your claims information on an impact claim upload template, and your advocates have copies of these templates. The Southeast PR team at uhc.com has copies of these templates. If you send an email to the Southeast PR team to get an escalation started, they will send you a copy of the template to put your claims on. This template is going to include all your basic information, member ID, patient name, date of service, things of that nature. There is also a section for you to put your reference number from your reconsideration, whether it be the online tracking number for your reconsideration from the provider portal, whether it be the call reference number you were given when you called customer service. Put that on there. That definitely helps with the escalation and research. So once you have completed that template, you send it back to the Southeast PR team at uhc.com mailbox. You will receive an automated email stating they've received the email from you, and it's, like I said, just strictly automated. Then once that has been assigned, you will have an email with the case number that is sent as a follow-up email, basically stating it's been assigned, here's your case number, we're reviewing it, and we will get back with you once we have some resolution. Once the review has been completed, or if they need additional information from you, they will reach out to you. That can either be by email or by phone. They will reach out to you and give you the completed information or get the additional information that they need to complete. Just do note, review times for each case may vary depending upon the complexity of the issue. Next slide, please. So this is our provider operations network management. This is basically kind of what are some of the differences in the two different departments, all right? Provider market operations, us advocates, we were formerly known as the provider relations department. We provide education and assistance on the tools and resources for UnitedHealthcare's different online tools, different processes, reimbursement policies, all different kinds of education and tools that we will help and assist with. Escalation of claim concerns after following the service model. So you have followed our service model, you have done your reconsideration, you've done your claims escalation, you're not able to get resolution, that's when your advocate can assist. Provider education or assistance on general questions and concerns. Do note that as advocates, what we do applies to participating providers only. Now, as far as network management or contracting goes, they negotiate new or existing provider contracts. For contractual and loading concerns, you would reach out to your network management team at the email listed here. They would also be the ones to update loads or request claims projects based upon loads that they've done. They would also be the ones to educate based upon contract language. So, all these different contractual based things would be your network management team that would handle that, not your provider market operations team. But, if there is an issue going on and it's sent to us, we can facilitate getting it over to them, but that takes time, for us to facilitate that. If you know that it's a contractual issue and go directly to that mailbox, turnaround times will be reduced slightly. Next slide, please. Okay, so next we're going to go into our digital solutions. Digital transition, I should say. For this is our provider portal basic information slide. With the provider portal, you can check claim statuses. You can follow up and submit prior authorizations. You can get eligibility benefits. You can do claims reconsiderations. You can do a lot of different work through the portal. And in this digital age, more and more and more is going to these online solutions. A lot of you may know this as Link. Well, as cannot talk today, sorry. As of October 14th, 2021, the Link portal has been retired, and this new provider portal is the new solution with expanded tools and capabilities that Link never had. So we definitely recommend using the provider portal. There will be on this slide a link that will take you to the provider portal tools resources, so that way you can get additional descriptions or additional help with all of the provider portal needs. Next slide, please.
Mark, let me just ask the group that might be
Sure.
listening. Folks, if there are any issues related to this new portal and anything and everything that you're experiencing, please include that information or questions related to that in the Q&A so that we can be sure to address any of those issues. It sounds like it's trying to be very provider friendly, but let us know if you're experiencing any issues with that online tool. Thank you.
Okay, so this slide here, you've got several links that you can follow for different resources. The first one will be the actual link to the provider portal. The next one is where to find the tools on the provider portal. And then the third one is about the document library. And the document library is going to be something that's going to be talked about a lot more in this presentation. With a lot of the initiatives coming up, the document library will become more and more involved with, your, I guess, business need. If at any point you have issues with the online portal, you can contact the portal technical help team at providertechsupport@uhc.com or call the number listed. Just note that these times are Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Next slide, please. Okay. Digital transitions. We will transition most of our contracted healthcare professionals, primary and ancillary facilities, from paper to digital communication in 2022. This is basically going back to what I was saying about document library. Announcements will be made on uhcprovider.com/news 90 days before mailings end. So that way you do have time to prepare. And as new letters move to our digital only delivery, you can find them in the document library. And for more information, you can go to uhcprovider.com/digital. Do note, PRAs will continue to be mailed for behavioral health, Medicare supplements, All Savers Insurance, Medica, United Health One, UMR, UnitedHealthcare Global, Student Resources, and Optum VA Critical Care Network. Next slide, please.
Mark, a question came through. Can you use the name and birthday to get eligibility benefits when they don't have an actual ID number?
There are multiple ways that you can search for eligibility. Name and birth date, and Justin, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that is one of the options for the search that you can use.
That is correct. There are a wide variety of search options when trying to locate a member that you're seeing to verify their benefits. If you don't have their ID number, there are other options such as name and date of birth to be able to locate them.
Thank you, Justin. All right, next slide, please, Bill.
Okay, you seeing that?
Yep, it took it a moment for it to come up for me. Thank you. All right, our Digital Solutions Comparison Guide, API, EDI, and our UnitedHealthcare Provider Portal. You know, what are digital solution options? Well, you know, we have multiple, and you need to determine which one is the best one for you. So which digital solution best fits your practice needs? You know, we have API, the application programming interface. We have EDI, the electronic data interface, and then we have the provider portal. These solutions are available to you to help you quickly get the information that you need, but which one works better? Well, if you go to the link at the top of this page when it's the deck is given to you, that will take you to a comparison guide where you can go through and look at the different options, what their capabilities are and everything else to help you make that decision. You know, all of these different options, whether it's EDI, API, or the portal, you know, it's our goal to give you the options to make it easier for you to work with us and to reduce the amount of time it takes for you to perform your claim activities, which in turn helps you to get paid faster. Next slide, please.
I've got a question for you. The website now requires you to have an active patient on file to look up fee schedule rates. Most times we do not have patient information available to us and need rates immediately. Are there any other options excluding reaching out to network management to obtain this information?
Not that I am aware of. Yeah, I'm not aware of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the only two methods I know of is that rate lookup through the portal or reaching out to the network management to get a copy of your fee schedule. That's the only two methods I know of at the moment, but I can, you know, we can definitely take that as a takeaway just to see if there is the potential for any others, but there's none that I know of at the moment.
Hey, Marcus Coordis, those are the only, they would have to sign into their account via the portal or outreach to network management.
Okay, so those are the only, okay, those were the only two I knew of, but okay. All right, so medical PRAs will not be mailed in 2022. You know, on that previous slide, there was a caveat to that, you know, where there are some that are still being mailed, but typically as of February 4th, 2022, we're no longer printing and mailing paper provider remittance advices. These can be found in document library. You know, so you can pull from the document library, you can pull the information from OptumPay, or you can set up EDI transactions to get that payment information. Those are the three main ones. But as far as the actual paper PRAs, those are not being mailed. Those, like I said, are now going to the document library. And next slide, please. And actually, I think at this point, I am handing this over to Justin and let Justin take it away from here.
Yes. Thank you very much, Mark. Once again, I'd like to thank everybody. I'd like to thank Bill once again for allowing me to come out and speak to the GHFMA. Right now, I've always have a pleasure speaking to everyone, to this group of people. And unfortunately, you guys can't see me on camera right now because Bill told me to dress up, and you know I bought me a suit and everything right now.
Yes, sir. We know you're dressed to the nines, so we appreciate that. Thank you.
I still got my tie on. I don't got no shoes on, but I got my tie on. So.
Good man.
But I'm going to keep going on with leading off of where Mark left off in regards to digital transitions. I hope that everyone's been able to identify a trend that's taking place when we talk about digital transitions. That is, the trend is moving things from more of a paper exchange, such as mailing, to more of a digital exchange, which would be through through a portal or through a digital feed that you guys would receive. And right now we do have 3 methods, as Mark mentioned: the API, the EDI, and right now what is the provider portal. This transition is going to expand even more than what it's already have. So definitely familiarize yourself with these digital solutions that we have, because it is the future, as it's already becoming impactful in the healthcare industry right now. With this transition right now, we're going to have the appeal decision letters. They will no longer be mailed in 2022, but as of March 4th, 2022, they will be integrated into a digital transition, which will lead them to be located within the document library. So once you receive the email notice when these letters are available, you can go into the provider portal, go into the document library, and you'll be able to view them. So definitely work with, if you do work with an outside vendor, such as a revenue cycle management company for your mailing process, please talk with them to see how this change could affect them, your current workflows. We don't want to cause any disruption to current workflows, but at the same time, we do want to make life a lot easier for all of our providers with the ability to access these documents easily and quickly. Next slide, please.
Justin, before I move on, a couple questions that have come through. When you get timed out on the UHC site and you try to log back in, it takes you to your profile settings from which you cannot access eligibility or claim status. The only way to get logged back into UHC is to go back to the uhcprovider.com and click log on. Is there a fix in the works so that you can get logged back in without having to re-enter the website address? That makes sense to me. You kind of want to pick up where you left off.
Yeah.
But do you understand the question? Do you have any feedback? Any of you
No,
on that?
I do understand the question. I understand that can be frustrating, having to go back and forth to avoid having to go through that login and page and having to restart all over. That is a question for the digital team to see if they have it in the works right now. I do not have an answer for that, but I do know that as an update that I'll share with you a little bit later on, we are providing ways to be able to save things so that once you log back in, you go right back to where you were. So if it's not already in the works now, I foresee it coming in the future, but I do not have a solution for you at this time.
I will make sure that I document that question, and I'll send that back through to you guys so that you can pass it along to whoever. If you've got any updates, any specific updates, I'll be glad to push it out to the group. We had another question related to appeals on denials and stuff. It has been noted in recent weeks that UnitedHealthcare might be behind on appeals and claims, indicating that could be an additional 90 to 120 days until those appeals or claims are resolved. Just wanted to know if you guys have been able to catch up on that at all, and if they can expect that window to get any better in turning those around. That's in some cases obviously substantial dollars, and the hospitals want to get those resolved as soon as possible.
Well, I can definitely say that we are working to cut down on that turnaround time. I do not have, I was not given a specific date by the time where things would be better, but I definitely know that it is a focal point for our company to reduce those times so that we can get these things resolved and redistribute this money to the providers as quickly as possible. We're very aware of the disruption that causes for practices, and we're working extremely hard to get that resolved.
Okay.
Hey, and Justin, it's Cawardis and Bill. They're asking, of course, it also varies by line of business, whether they're, say, third party, like a TPA, UMR. It's going to vary. I know that window has closed in, as Justin stated, so the time frame has gotten smaller. But if there are specific facilities or groups that are out there who have a question about the time frame, make sure you all outreach to your advocate so that we can look into if it has been an extended amount of time and nothing has changed, please outreach to our team so that we can look into it for you. But the overall answer is yes, that time frame has shrunk some, and the different teams have been able to get caught up. And again, it does vary per line of business. Just for example, commercial may be moving a little bit faster than Medicare Advantage and so on.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Continuing along the appeal decision letters that will not be mailed anymore starting in 2022, they'll be located within the document library. And I know you guys have heard a couple times so far, document library, document library. That's going to be a pretty important feature moving forward. So definitely familiarize yourself with that application and with the different features that are within there. Once again, it can be located in the provider portal on uhcprovider.com. You would simply just sign into the portal, and in the menu, you would select documents and reporting, and then you would click document library and then select the appeals and disputes folder, and all that information would be in there. Then you have the ability to view it using API. Consider API if you have an automated intake of correspondence or significant prior authorization or clinical letter volume with UnitedHealthcare. Once again, API is really for practices that are heavily involved in automation. So if you prefer an automated data feed that can pull information from UnitedHealthcare on a schedule you set, then the automated feed replaces having to look into the document letter instead of be pushed right into your system. Next slide. All right. Prior authorizations and clinical decision letters are going paperless as well. This will be beginning in May 6th of 2022. You will no longer mail in these prior authorization and clinical decision letters, or we will no longer mail these prior authorization and clinical decision letters to you. Instead, they will be located within the provider portal or whatever API interface you have set up. These are the type of letters that are going paperless. This would be the pre-service prior authorization decision letters, inpatient review letters, including concurrent, retrospective, and length of stay and level of care. Then the extension of lack of clinical information letters, and then complex care management and OrthoNet letters. All these will be available within the document library. Next slide. All right. We have enhanced, and we continue to enhance features within the provider portal to make you guys' lives a lot easier and more efficient in your day-to-day operations. And these two new features that we've added to the prior authorization process within the prior authorization tool. One is cancel case. You can submit a submit a request to cancel most prior authorization requests from within the prior authorization notification tool. You no longer need to call in to cancel that request. You can simply need to cancel the request before a coverage determination is actually made. And then save as draft. A lot of times providers start an authorization and then are unable to finish it due to having to go get some additional information or having to step away for a while. So just want to let you know that you'll no longer have to be required to complete this whole authorization request in one sitting, and you don't have to worry about the system timing out. You would just simply it would automatically save it and then be there for you for when you log back in to restart that authorization request. All right, next one. All right, so we've talked about document library a lot. I've mentioned how so many documents are going to get placed into that. I want to deep dive into this document library a little bit more to provide more details and input around this application or this feature. Within the document library, you will be able to view and print your documents, such as the PRAs, the authorization letters, all of that. You can download the letters and provide provider remittance advices for up to 24 months. Then you can easily identify folders and quickly view all the files with the new layout. The layout, we do offer customization for this within there, so you can suit it exactly how it would be beneficial for your practice. Once again, we're keeping you guys in mind. I want to put more of the ability in your hands to help you in your practice with the things that you face on a day-to-day basis. You have the ability to use bulk action to manage multiple documents, once again, to save time. And you can find documents fast with quick or advanced search as well. We do offer sorting options, and then you can also mark your letters and documents as read and unread so you can kind of identify what's been looked at and what needs to be looked at. All right. So we talked about the document library. And once again, I want to talk about how you can access it. You would go to the uhcprovider.com, and then you would select in the upper right corner, you would sign in with your One Healthcare ID and password. Then you select Documents and Reporting, and then you would click Document Library. Now, one of the key things that I want to make sure that you guys are aware of is there are some reports that are not located within the Document Library. So they are located under the Documents and Reporting tab menu within the portal. So within this Documents and Reporting, you were able to see reports such as hospital-based comp reports, physician performance reporting, as well as UnitedHealthcare reports and UnitedHealthcare West reports. So a lot of those reports aren't in the document library. There will be another tab over there for you to click on once you go into your provider portal. Next slide. Just want to provide you guys a quick refresh on the products that we have within the Georgia market. So this page, which is on the presentation that Bill will be passing out to you all, consists of links to take you to a site that would list all of the Georgia commercial health plans. This link would take you to a site that lists all the Georgia Medicare Advantage plans. And then you have another site that would take you to, or another link that would take you to the site that would list all the Georgia exchange plans. Please note that the exchange plans are only available within the following counties within Georgia. Next slide. All right. We also, as you all may be aware, we have third-party administrative plans such as All Savers, Bind, Empire Plan, and UMR. We wanted to provide you all with the links that would send you to these plans pages. One, because these plans have their own provider relations team process for which you would work with them to resolve any issues for the members that have these plans that you may see. We, meaning my team, the provider advocate team here, do not work with any issues associating with these plans. We would simply direct you back to these plans, or you can contact them yourself through contact information listed on the member's card. So please familiarize yourself with these plans. If you see a member with this issue, just know that you would need to reach out to this actual affiliated plan, third-party administrator plan, to work through those issues. Next slide. All right, and this is the UnitedHealthcare Provider Portal. I'm sure that everybody has at least taken one visit out to this page. This is a very important page where you can get access to various trainings. You can access a lot of different policies for UnitedHealthcare. This is where you would go to sign in into your own individual provider portal to be able to access the document library and all of the other features on there. So this is a key pivotal page for UnitedHealthcare providers. So if you haven't gone out there to familiarize yourself with this page, please be sure to do so now. A lot of times we simply would direct providers to resources on this page, which has been great in helping them resolve whatever issues or concerns that they have. Next slide. We do also want to provide you with additional resources for departments and issues that you guys can reach out to for those specific issues. Once again, uhcprovider.com, very key site important site that we just went over. This is the contact information for EDI. We also have a contact information for the EPS, our electronic payment and statements, as well as Opt-and-Pay. And then we have a contact information for smart edits, which have been key in helping providers anticipate and prevent issues that they face in the future, and ensure that their revenue keeps going on at a constant flow, because these smart edits help them, identify those discrepancies ahead of time. And then you have the provider service voice portal, which can be reached at this number. And then, as we mentioned earlier, for claims issue or escalated issues, you would simply send that to the Southeast PR team at uhc.com. That would be directed to my team. However, for any contracting issues or loading issues or network participation questions or concerns, you would reach out to network management at the SO_Atlantic_physicians or PHYS_contracting@UHC.com. That is a very important email address for you guys to have saved, to once again to assist you with any loading issues, any rate issues, or contract issues, or questions or concerns. You would need to reach out to the network management team. And then we have the coding corner. If you have any questions on coding educations, you would simply reach out to this contact information right here. This coding specialist would, we use claim and billing history to find trends that indicate where there might be coding issues. And then we offer you courses to help decrease the number of claim denials that you would be facing by coding errors. This is a great resource to help providers as well. Next page. And this is a page that we wanted to provide you guys. I think this would help out any practice that is facing a lot of prepayment review issues or concerns. These are the provider inquiry resolution team contacts. So if you're facing prepayment reviews or any issues with that, this is contact information for those specific departments that go directly to those departments. So there won't be any other numbers that would, have to redirect you over here or redirect you over here. These are direct numbers to those departments to help you with any of the issues that you would be facing. All right, next slide. Then we have the network news overview and sign up. Network news is a great way for practices to stay up to date and ahead of any policy changes or procedure changes that would impact them as UnitedHealthcare providers. As we just mentioned, we just discussed those digital transitions, we will notify you ahead of time via news that we submit within this network news bulletin about these transitions and when they're going to take place. So once again, if you were heavily involved in receiving a lot of documentation, a lot of notification via mail, then all of a sudden the go live date hits and you're no longer receiving mail. This could help you identify that before, so you can have a workflow adjustment to be more considerate of that change that's taking place. So definitely want to make sure, that was just an example, but there are other instances such as policies or other procedures of announcements that are going to be made. So definitely sign up for this so you can get ahead of the game, ahead of the curve, and identify how these announcements or these changes would impact your practice. Next slide. And here is something that the provider advocate team offers the providers in Georgia. We offer two webinar sessions or education sessions a month. You would simply click on these hyperlinks that you can see over there where it says click to sign up and register. These are very informative sessions that we offer, in which we discuss a lot of the network news announcements, policy changes, protocol updates, and other topics that would be covered by various guest speakers. And these guest speakers could range from different departments within UnitedHealthcare, such as the ADI team or API team, the EDI team, or other teams, departments that would come up there and talk about any announcements or updates that they have and address any questions or concerns. So this is a great chance for all providers in Georgia to have a chance to speak with, to meet with the team, the Georgia team, as well as other individuals within the UnitedHealthcare to help them work through any issues that they're resolving and get those updates. So definitely reach out to Georgia Provider Market Operations team if you have any questions or concerns. We hope that you can attend because we've gotten a lot of great feedback on the information that we share on these presentations. Be sure to register.
Yeah, I would imagine those could be pretty valuable sessions for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
And I'm going to step in here for one moment and do a little sneak peek teaser. The ones coming up for the next month will be discussing smart edits is our speaker, and we'll be going into depth and detail in regards to smart edits. And there will actually be a half a CEU attached to this one as well. So if you're in need of a CEU, for your practice, then you will have the ability to get one with these presentations that we will be doing in May.
Okay. And I think that concludes your presentation, if I'm seeing this right.
That is correct. That is correct.
Good.
That concludes everything. I guess we can open up for any Q&As right now.
Yeah, let's see what other questions folks have before we let you go. We've got a really good representation today of people from around the state. So I guess the question that I've been asking the payers this week is, are there any particular issues, items that you find yourselves addressing more than others that would be good for the group to know and be aware of? Are you hearing any provider issues on a general level, of course, that you say, gosh, that's my third call this week on that, or something where they are experiencing issues that you might want to share some information with the attendees today?
Honestly, I've received several questions about letters, documents that where they can find them. Whether it's they were receiving it via mail or they were receiving it via fax, and they can no longer, maybe they didn't receive a decision letter for an authorization, and they say, hey, can you get this sent over to us? And a lot of times I'm redirecting them to the document library because it will be located in there. So I've gotten several questions a week in regards to, hey, can you forward this letter to me, or can you find this letter? We never received this letter. I mean, that letter is key because that allows them to, if it's necessary to do a reconsideration or something on top of that letter, they have to have that in order to do it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's good to know. Now, what about providers contacting you about any issues they might be having where maybe they send you documentation that's requested, and for whatever reason, when they follow up, there's any indication that you're not receiving it or anything? I didn't know, that's one that I hear about sometimes when I'm out and about, and I just didn't, it's not specific to United, but I just didn't know if that was something that you were hearing any concerns about.
I personally haven't heard that, had that issue come up.
Okay.
I will let Mark or Cordis, if they're aware of anything like that lately, a trend in that.
Yeah.
I've not heard anything as far as a trend in that. I have had, a provider here or a provider there, hey, we sent our records under this PIQ number and everybody's telling me they can't find it, so once in a while I hear something along that lines, but definitely by no means a trend. I'm not sure entirely what's going on of why it can't be found, because 99.9% of the time with the PIQ number they give me, I'm able to go in and pull it. So, I'm not sure exactly what all's going on there, but like I said, definitely not a trend or anything I've seen, just one or two, and maybe the last year that I've had brought to my attention.
Okay. I've got a question that came through. I think you touched on it, but if you can just clarify in case they didn't catch everything. Let's see here. Any more training sessions available specifically for the document library? Specifically need to set up alerts when an authorization or a denial is available to a hospital. Does that make sense? Anything you want to reiterate on that?
I would say that first and foremost, if you go to uhcprovider.com/training, there is instructor-led trainings that are done there by a gentleman by the name of Michael LaBelle. He is wonderful. He does great trainings on pretty much the whole plethora of online tools. So if you go there, you can sign up for trainings for any particular portion or even all of the portal tools, if you wish. So that would be the first place I would say look at, because that is going to be the most in-depth training. That being said, I do know that coming up in, on our Georgia Provider Education Forums, we are looking at trying to have someone come on and do like an overview of document library. So that may be something coming there as well. But definitely your first resource would be uhcprovider.com for that. There would be information there. And then if you go to the training page, there will be those online trainings. There's self-paced trainings and instructor-led trainings.
Okay.
Yeah, and I will say that one thing, I know she was inquiring about alerts of when something has been received. You are able to sign up for email alerts, but those email alerts aren't going to necessarily be down to, hey, you received an update on the authorization for this particular patient. It's going to let you know that documents have been received and placed within your document library. So that's one that's kind of an alert external of document library. When you get inside the provider portal, there might be another alert that may contain more patient-specific information. I know that there's a flagging system that you can put on top of a particular case to say, hey, let me know when anything, the status of this authorization or the status of this, and then whenever something triggers for that, it will notify you. So that's a more specific alert. But other than that, everything is what it goes to your email is going to be a general, hey, you've received new documentation, and then you can flag it and set up a more personalized notes, which will take place within the actual portal when you log in.
Okay. Mark, what was that email, or I'm sorry, that web address again for the training?
It would be, and I believe there's a slide. Hold on one second. I'll give you the slide number for it just to make sure I'm giving you the right information. Yeah, it's slide number 21. So, and it's uhcprovider.com/training.
Okay.
Yeah, and that one you can sign up for, self-paced, you go in and do that just online virtual, self-paced training for all different types of things. A lot of those trainings are 5 minutes. Some of them are longer, obviously. And it just kind of breaks it down into different, categories, this tool, this thing, this tool, this thing, so forth, so on. And then there's also the instructor-led trainings, which, they do those on a schedule. You look at that schedule and find out when that instructor-led training is going to be, sign up for it. You log in to that much like you are today into this call. And then Michael LaBelle, who does those trainings, will go through and present it, show you how to do it all and everything else. He's real good at those presentations. He gives you a lot of information. And then they also do a Q&A session in those trainings too. So that way, if you do have questions, there is, the ability to get those answers that you may have and need. Obviously, because this is going to include multiple practices, across the United States, you do not want to be asking anything relating to protected health information or anything like that on these calls. But, you can definitely ask those general questions on how to use those portals to your advantage.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Another question that came, go ahead. Did you have a?
Yeah, Bill, real quick. So I see Tamara Hayes' question.
Yes.
That's a more specific one for an instance that we need to do more investigation. So if she could please reach out to an advocate and we can assist her with to try and identify what exactly is causing that issue that she's facing.
Yeah, let me just read the question so that if other people have a similar issue, they can reach out to their advocate. So she indicates that she's had claims in which they received authorization and the claim then denies in error for no authorization. They use the provider portal to do a claim reconsideration and state the authorization info that was already approved. Instead of the claim being reprocessed with this information, we're then told medical records is needed. Why is this the case when it seems like simple reprocessing would be the issue? And so if you're experiencing a similar issue, the recommendation is that you reach out to your provider advocate with those concerns so that they can hopefully get that resolved for you.
Okay. And then I also just want to touch on going back to the transition for these letters being moved to the document library. This is going to only impact letters that were mailed. So if you receive these notification letters through eFax, that is considered a digital process as well, and that will not transition. So you'll still receive those letters if you've been getting them in fax, the notifications through fax, those will still be in place. It's just a matter of letters that were mailed to the providers.
Okay. All right. I think that is all of the questions that have come through right now. Again, I want to thank everybody for your participation today. Thanks to the folks from UnitedHealthcare. The presentation, I will email the presentation out to you all, hopefully yet this week or the early part of next. So you should have that. Check your junk mail for that. Sometimes they fall into those junk mail folders. I used to be able to post this on the chapter website, and apparently there've been some restrictions about being able to do that now. So I'm going to need to email them to you, and I should have everybody's email addresses, and we'll get that out to you here shortly. But that concludes today's event. Tomorrow, we've got Anthem Blue Cross presenting again from 1 to 2 o'clock. And then on Friday, we've got Centene, which is going to touch on Ambetter from 1 to 2, and then Humana from 2 to 3. And so I appreciate everybody's participation. Thanks for your great questions. Let's see if I've got any other questions coming through here before we let everybody go. These sessions are also recorded, so we'll be able to get those out on the chapter YouTube page here before too long. Unfortunately, I'm not the one that moves those through the process, but they're saved to a server, and then somebody does a little quick editing, and they'll pop those out there on the chapter YouTube page for you. But I want to thank everybody. They gave us a lot of good information today. There's several online resources. I would say that most of the payers seem to be moving a lot of their interaction to digital. Please be sure you're taking advantage of those resources. I think information is power. You know, the more information you have at your fingertips, the more you can hopefully work through the issues that you are having. And I encourage you, as I've said earlier in the week, to talk with your peers at other organizations and you know, through different HFMA events, collaborate and network to find out how people are addressing some of the same issues or challenges that you might be having. And I think you'd be surprised at how helpful that can be. So keep an eye on Georgia HFMA through our social media pages and also the website for any upcoming events. And we appreciate your support and hope to have many of you back with us tomorrow. Have a great rest of your week, everybody. And thanks again, Mark and Justin and Cordis, and I appreciate it so much.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks for having us, Bill. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thanks so much. Yep, bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone, and goodbye.